Hello, I'm Luke. You don't know me yet, but I'm one of the main characters in this book. Chris and Francesco have invested a lot of time in this project. Let's help them grow the channel. Click subscribe, hit the like button, and most importantly, turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll know immediately when the next chapter is published. Thank you for your support. See you in the book.
1942. The night wrapped the port of Las Palmas in a cold, damp shroud, a far cry from the golden warmth the day bestowed upon Gran Canaria. The silence was absolute. No cries from dock workers, no creaking of taut ropes on ships. Only the wind, slipping through the alleys, carrying the salty tang of the sea, and a bitter aftertaste James Harris knew too well. Suspicion. He stood still, a shadow among shadows. To anyone who knew him there, he was Jaime Herrera, a name carefully chosen to blend him in with the locals. No detail out of place, no apparent threat. Yet that name was a lie, and those looking for him that night knew it. James scanned the empty dock, every fiber of his body tense. Hat pulled low over his forehead, modest suit. A common man, an illusion. Because the pocket watch pressing against his chest weighed like a death sentence. Inside, hidden within a false bottom, lay the microfilm. Tiny, fragile, but capable of shifting the course of war. He had lived through many nights like this, teetering on the edge of a razor blade. But this one was different. He could feel it in the heavy air, in the silence that seemed to listen, in the shadows stretching too far. Every second spent there pulled him closer to the inevitable. Margie Spencer should have been there. They had planned every detail. No deviations, no improvisation. And yet, the port remained silent. Only the shadows crept closer, tightening around him like a noose. Then he saw it. A slow, almost imperceptible movement. But enough. No need to see the face to know. Carl Rittenberg. The name itself was a death sentence. They called him the Hunter, a legend among spies. A man who never relented, who hunted his prey until it broke. Now he was there, motionless, a statue of shadows watching him with the patient cruelty of a predator. James clutched the watch beneath his jacket as if it could protect him. A foolish thought. Nothing could protect him from Rittenberg. Time for thinking was over. He moved swiftly, his steps light as a fading shadow. He knew this port like the back of his hand. Every alley, every hidden passage. But against a man like Rittenberg, even familiar ground could become a trap. His heart pounded, a war drum echoing through the narrow streets. He slipped into a tighter passage, breath shallow, while behind him the sound of pursuit grew closer. Rittenberg was in no hurry. He walked with the confidence of a wolf, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. James reached an opening by the dock. In front of him the sea stretched out, black as tar. In his mind a desperate idea took shape. The Maspalomas lighthouse. He couldn't see it from here, but he knew where it was. Isolated, shielded by dunes. Perhaps the only place where he could vanish. An old fishing boat lay moored nearby, a forgotten relic left to decay. James didn't hesitate. He climbed aboard, the wood creaking beneath his weight. Behind him, Rittenberg's steps grew closer. James crouched low, holding his breath. Every breath was a risk. Every movement, a potential mistake. The sea roared against him, waves pounding the dock in an obsessive rhythm. With a swift pull, he untied the moorings and pushed the boat away from the shore. The scrape of wood against rope sounded like an alarm bell, but he didn't stop. As the boat drifted away, the dock lights dissolved into darkness. The wind picked up. The sea turned rougher. The only sound filling his ears was his own breath, fractured by tension. Rittenberg was gone, but it was only a matter of time. Minutes stretched into hours as he finally reached the shore near Maspalomas lighthouse. He staggered out of the boat, heart still hammering. The lighthouse's beacon cut through the night at steady intervals, slicing the darkness with blades of white. He crouched behind a rock, body trembling from effort and cold. The watch was still there. The microfilm, still safe. But at what cost? He looked up at the lighthouse. Its solitary light defied the darkness. He didn't know if Margie was still alive. He didn't know if he would ever complete the mission. But one thing was certain. The hunt had just begun. James curled up between the rocks, his breath finally slowing. The lighthouse kept shining, the only beacon of light in a world of shadows. And in the darkness, Rittenberg smiled.